The Greedy Tortoise. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest surrounded by crystal clear rivers, there lived a tortoise named Tuco. Unlike the other animals in the forest, who shared everything they had, Tuco was known for his greed. He always kept the juiciest fruits and tastiest vegetables for himself, never offering even a morsel to anyone else. One bright morning, Tuco heard that the forest birds were hosting a grand feast in the clouds. They invited all the animals who could fly, but Tuco, being a land dweller, wasn't invited? Feeling left out, Tuco came up with a cunning plan. He approached his friend, a kind and trusting bird named Kiki, and said, "Kiki, I have always dreamed of flying. Will you let me join you at the feast?" Kiki hesitated, but eventually agreed. "I promise to behave and make it worth your while," tying a large basket to her feet so Tuco could sit inside. Together, they soared into the sky, where a table laden with delicious food awaited. As soon as they arrived, Tuco's eyes widened at the sight of the spread: ripe berries, golden honey, and freshly baked seed cakes. Instead of waiting his turn, Tuco hurried to the table, stuffing his mouth with food and hoarding as much as he could in his shell. Why is this tortoise eating everything? He wasn't even invited. The birds began to notice. One of them chirped angrily. Ashamed of his behavior, Kiki tried to calm everyone, but Tuco's greed had already spoiled the feast. The birds decided that Tuco needed to be taught a lesson. When it was time to return home, the birds refused to carry Tuco back. "If you're so greedy, perhaps you can figure out how to get home on your own," they said. Realizing his mistake too late, Tuco begged for forgiveness, but the birds flew away, leaving him stranded on a cloud. Tuco had no choice but to leap off and hope for the best. He fell from the sky, and though he landed on his shell and survived, it cracked and became bumpy forever. From that day forward, Tuco learned the value of sharing and humility. The other animals forgave him, but his cracked shell always reminded him of the consequences of greed. And so, the greedy tortoise became a symbol of the lesson: greed never pays.